Well, Advocate Stephanie Fick, the Executive Director for Accountability and Public Governance Division at the organization Undoing Tax Abuse, joins us now. Stephanie, it's always great to have you with us on the show. Welcome, Advocate. So we have quite a number of cases, right, including those very notable, high-profile as well as sensitive cases getting through the hands, slipping through the hands of the NPA. This week was no different when the issue of Morwadi Cholota linked to the asbestos case was actually exonerated due to procedural failures by law enforcement. So what is your take on these sentiments, firstly?
I think I agree with Shamila Batohi. I think sometimes it's a bit unfair to only concentrate on the failures. We need to look at successes as well, because, you know, in any business, anything you run from a leadership point of view, there will always be, the failures, and let's concentrate on the wins. But I think the problem this speaks to is also, like was mentioned, is that there's a bigger problem. If you ask about state capture cases, how many state capture cases has been successfully prosecuted? And I'm not talking about the one or two that, there was a failure. What about the others? Then I'm also, questioning, are we able to go after and reduce our crime rate? And then you speak to this multifaceted solution to the problem. The problem is not just the NPA not securing convictions. I think it's also a question of, do we have capable investigations? Do we have capable intelligence on the ground? And when I say intelligence, is do we have the ability to identify where crime hotspots are, the money laundering cases? Do we have the capability of investigating those, organized crime and all of that? And if you put it all together and you look at our high crime rate, one wonders then, where are the successes? So to really nitpick on a few is maybe unfair. But if you look at it holistically, I think there is a bit of a trust deficit that, if you are, and it also creates the impression, if you are a high-profile individual, if you have money in the legal system, you are able to sidestep it. I mean, I think the case against our previous president, Mr. Zuma, is an excellent example. And that just speaks to me, what can we do in order to save our criminal justice system, to again get people to trust in that system, and that people feel that, crimes are being prosecuted no matter who you are. And crimes are being investigated no matter who you are.
Absolutely, Stephanie. I mean, the Hawks Head, though, just looking at, of course, the effectiveness of some of these bodies and the capabilities of these bodies. The Hawks Head there, Mr. Lebeya has just retired from office last weekend. And it was quite interesting, Stephanie, to actually see the number of successful prosecutions and arrests that they've actually made. So I think the excuse of rectifying historical operational errors should have long been concluded, right? It's been 7 years since, of course, Shamila Batohi took the lead at the NPA. And the conviction rate, even the DA in this regard, has conceded that the conviction rates as well as criminal rates under her helm have significantly declined. Yeah. So does this then not reflect broader leadership as well as capacity challenges, especially if you just listen to the recent judge's scathing remarks on the state's conduct in some of these matters?
No, I agree with you. I think as a leader, Shamila Batohi needs to take some responsibilities. I mean, you lead from the top, and if there are certain systemic problems, that as a leader you should tackle those. But I think I think what we are saying, it is not fair to blame everything on her, but she has to take some responsibilities for some of the things that that hasn't gone as we would intended this to go. And yes, I mean, we like to refer to state capture. State capture happened, like 10 years, 12 years ago, and we haven't seen movement in that area. But I'm also afraid that if you look at just daily lives of people, the amount of crime that is being committed, that are we addressing those as well? Because as we talk about state capture, each and every day there's crime happening, and each and every day there's still prosecutions. We also have to accept that there's people in the NPA, people in the police. It's like government. There's people in government that is not corrupt, that wants to do their job. They want to do their job pretty well. They want to do it to the best of their ability. They want to do it in service of the people of South Africa. But we need more of those. But ultimately, don't you also think that there should be a political will in order to change it? And I think if you then start talking about resource constraints and all of that, is that we need to see the will from, higher up, that we want to make a dent in crime, that we want to solve our crime rate, and that we want to have more prosecutions. So we need to make sure when we pick the new NDPP that we pick the right person that will tackle the bull by its horns, and then fight the politicians that are still interfering in how this, the NPA is run, and that there should be independence from the NPA side.
Absolutely. Stephanie, unfortunately, we're out of time, but just listening to our conversations there, I was actually listening to, of course, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi there on another debate. They're saying that police actually do their jobs. And the issue lies with the fact that once they've delivered these criminals to the court systems, the judges, the magistrates are the ones that give them bail. And some of these people don't even have verified addresses in the system. So there's quite a lot that needs to go into this in terms of how then we recapacitate bodies like your NPA. But unfortunately, that's where we're going to leave it. Stephanie, as always, great input. That is Advocate Stephanie Fick there. She's the Director for Accountability and Public Governance at OUTA.